A very good evening to all our viewers and welcome to a brand new edition of News First Weekend coming to you live from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka. Let's start off with a look at the stories making headlines this evening.
Repercussions of removing the word Republic. Prime Minister says power could be devolved in a unitary state. Is the Prime Minister a prisoner of the TNA? Several key decisions to be made to eradicate drug smuggling in Sri Lanka, says the President. Philippines to extend support. Accident involving a train and a motorbike in Thudalla Jayala claims 2 lives.
And now the stories in detail. The government of Philippines has pledged their support to Sri Lanka's mission to eradicate the drug menace in the country. A team of technological consultants from Philippines is set to arrive in Sri Lanka soon to assist with this process. The President Media Division states that this has been another one of the benefits our nation has gained by the Philippine tour of President Maithripala Sirisena.
On the final day of the Philippines tour, President Maithripala Sirisena visited the Philippines Police Headquarters and inspected the Anti-Narcotics Bureau. The President also inspected an exhibition that demonstrated how the Philippine government conducted raids to eradicate drugs. In a discussion that was held with the Philippines police officer and senior officials, President Maithripala Sirisena stated that a battle spearheaded by the President himself is being carried out in Sri Lanka against drug trafficking. He also pointed out that even at this moment he was engaged in a battle to overcome the illegal drug trafficking in Sri Lanka. The President also stated that he will be taking a number of important decisions with regard to this issue within this year.
Several politicians from the north as well as the south expressed their views regarding the recent statement made by parliamentarian M.A. Sumatharan.
We must protect media freedom. We must develop improved media channels in the future. Some politicians speak of media freedom today. Media freedom gives one the right to make criticism. A certain MP speaks of Shakti TV and Sirasa TV. Such channels are good if they present news in favor of you. If not, such channels are identified as private channels. The problems of the Tamil community were conveyed to the international community through this media. During difficult times, it is the media that goes into places where politicians are afraid to visit. It is they who report the various problems people face. Media must be respected. It is through a personal analysis that a politician can rectify certain personal aspects of himself. You should have witnessed the effort made by media during times of war, especially the Tamil media. Some media officials even sacrificed their lives.
It
is amusing how accurate information presented through the media is misinterpreted by certain people. A politician must correct himself rather than attending to correct the media. We must be aware of the true picture. In the recent past, when democracy was about to be destroyed, it was the Shakti Media Institution that extended their support to uphold democracy in the country. I would like to state that if such acts are continued, the Tamil community will not think twice to condemn such acts. No one must interfere in media freedom. We condemn any form of force or opposition against the media. Recently, MP Sumandiran stated that they can change the current government overnight. The current government can be changed overnight as this government has no backbone.
The opening of the Sanghavasa building at the Purvarama Vihare in Kharagoda, Yakalamulla took place today under the auspices of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe.
Subsequently to the opening of the building, the Prime Minister attended an almsgiving. In the newspapers today, I saw that the statement made by the Mahanayaka Thera about the constitution. This statement needs to be analyzed properly, because some are saying that a new constitution is coming and it will divide the country. We have not compiled any constitution, neither have we made a draft bill. The government has not done anything. J.R. Jayawardena spoke about the unitary state, and that cannot be changed. But I say that power can be devolved in a unitary state.
The People's Movement towards the general election convened a media briefing in Colombo yesterday. Now, opinions on the proposed constitution were also expressed during the media briefing.
The 9th clause of the present constitution states that the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka gives priority to Buddhism. What do? They slowly strike off the term republic. It now states that Sri Lanka gives priority to Buddhism. That means you and me give priority to Buddhism. So does the cardinal, but not the government. There has never been a government like this. Not in Sri Lanka, not in the entire continent of Asia, not even in the entire world. A government that steals words, steals the meaning, and steals the morality. They are a bunch of thieves. It also stated that the police will be divided into two, provincial police and national police. It clearly states a person favored by the provincial council minister will be appointed as the head of the provincial police. They are trying to hoodwink the entire country. Under whose guidance is this being done? Today, the country is being controlled by TNA MP Sumandiran. They say that the cabinet takes decisions only after consulting them. Then what is the point of a cabinet being there? We have come to a point where the country cannot move forward without pleasing the TNA. That's why we said if the parliament is not dissolved, the country would go to a worse place than where it is now. This is why the country needs to go for a general election. It is the provincial council list that includes the most important historical items. Number 25.1 and 25.2 is included in the provincial council's list. But it states that there are certain historical items of national importance and some are not. So when such historical items are being destroyed or removed, how can we put a stop to this? This is why our country has a president, and this is why they want to abolish the executive presidency. We will not allow politicians of the north to establish a constitution that will divide our country. These media institutions witnessed unfamiliar groups of individuals protest outside their organizations recently. Why do they need masks to express their opinion? We warn the public that at a time the people are deprived from exercising their voting rights and their sovereignty, and at a time democracy does not exist in parliament. Those groups of masked individuals are attempting to destabilize the fourth pillar of democracy, media freedom, on behalf of the government. It does not matter whether Sambandhan or Sumandiran are Sinhalese or Tamil. These two are cruel politicians who are attempting to deprive the public of their rights. We do not need to be afraid to tell them this. This is not racism.
Parliamentarian Udega Manpal expressed these views to the media while attending a meeting in Horana.
I would like to ask Ranil Wickremesinghe, who said that the constitution was not presented, to come and read the first page of the document forwarded by you. It starts by stating, since we the people of Sri Lanka respect the diversity of our culture, this constitution is presented to the nation that reflects the above diversity. That it is not we who call it a constitution. It is called so in the very first page of the book. I know that mentally ill people write on pages and throw them away. Since Ranil Wickremesinghe has no such disease, why would he do that? He says that it was presented for a discussion. When we point out its mistakes, then they are upset. They say that we have jumped into conclusions. They call us extremists and racist. If the priority given to Buddhism is not going to be the same, then let the 9th clause remain unchanged. If they are going to leave the unitary state untouched, then why have they changed the 2nd clause? We challenge the Prime Minister. If you want to protect the unitary state, if you want to protect the place given to Buddhism, then give a pledge to the nation that these 2 clauses will not be changed.
The Baramangala meeting of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna of the Minuanguru electorate was held today. Parliamentarian Pavitra Devi Vanyarach expressed these views at the meeting.
You might have seen the leadership problem that is prevailing in the UNP. When Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe was appointing the cabinet, he was careful not to give ministerial or deputy ministerial posts to any of the associates of Sajith Premadasa. By today, we can see there are major conflicts within the UNP. We saw Sarath Fonseca and Thevara Peruma fighting amongst themselves. Ravi Karnanayaka says that the Ministry of Finance does not need a fashion designer. Ravi and Mangala are fighting on a rock. No matter what anyone says, there is a major conflict in the UNP with regard to the leadership. Ranil Wickremesinghe has become a prisoner of the TNA.
A report which was given by the Board of Directors of the Sri Lankan Airlines revealed that 4 A330 aircrafts will have to pay $3 million more than the usual amount on a monthly basis. We recently revealed that one of these 4 aircrafts were never used and yet being subject to pay a monthly payment of $585,000. However, at present the lease amount to be paid for such an aircraft is around $350,000 to $450,000. The report states that although the Sri Lankan Airlines had the opportunity to lease the aircraft for around $660,000 to $700,000, the company had obtained it at a cost of more than $1 million. Relevant aircrafts were initially leased during the previous government. The report further states that the aircrafts are not a requirement of the company and that it had to bear a cost exceeding $3 million. The former CEO of the Sri Lankan Airlines, Suren Ratwatha, also has signed the report.
If you have anything left to call a state airline service, it is because of the 3 brand new aircrafts that were leased by the previous government. If they say that these are over the required need of the supply of assume where these people are directing the airline service. These under-efficient planes have emerged even after cancelling the tours which are beneficiary to tourism. This is all because of the wrong decisions taken by them.
The government was compelled to pay $98 million to AirCap company as compensation for the cancellation of the order. The cancellation agreement also included a few more conditions. An email addressed to the chairman by then CEO Charita Ratwatha reveals that the Prime Minister had recommended cancellation of the transaction. Charita Ratwatha is the brother of Suren Ratwatha. 100 million rupees wasted every month on an unused aeroplane was also due to these conditions.
This is an outcome of cancelling the A350 aircraft. This has created a disadvantage and an unfavourable condition. The responsibility should be shouldered by Charita Ratwatha, who represented Prime Minister's kitchen cabinet. They cannot get away from what they have done by blaming it on the previous government. Who obtained the excess money? Why isn't anyone rectifying this error? Isn't the money wasted by this the money of the people?
Well, it has been reported to the Central Bank of Sri Lanka that a phishing attempt has been initiated targeting mainly the financial institutions of Sri Lanka and the phishing emails appear to be sent from the Employees Provident Fund Department of the CBSL with the subject Notice from the Central Bank of Sri Lanka EPF.
The content of the email was reported to be with links to malicious websites and downloadable malicious software. Issuing a statement, the Central Bank informs the general public and institutions that the EPF Department of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka has not sent out such emails. The public and institutions are advised to be alert of this ongoing phishing attempt and not open suspicious emails with the subject, quote, Note from Central Bank of Sri Lanka EPF, unquote, or open its attachments or click on any of its links.
National Intellectual Organisation convened a media briefing today at the South City Pier in Colombo with the participation of lecturers and professors.
We believe that within 5 years of time, if the wealth of this country and production management can reduce the waste, excess expenses and give the priority for what's necessary, then it is not like that we cannot build this country like Singapore. For that we have the human resources. We should take the management program forward with the right policies. If engineers, doctors, lawyers, accountants and several other personalities can join politics, what the citizens should do is that without being the spectators and be decision makers, let go in that journey while joining hands with the youth.
The fourth stage of the GUM and the V-Force got underway in Kegol this morning.
GUM and the V-Force.
Members of the V-Force team visited the Dadigama Kiniwata Primary School in Kegol this morning. Located 15 kilometers away from the Warakapola town, the students of Dadigama Kiniwata Primary School engaged in their educational activities in dilapidated buildings. Under the V-Force initiative today, these buildings were renovated and painted, fulfilling a long-awaited wish of the students and teachers.
පතන හැටි කොහොම වුණත් දවස ගෙවෙන හැටි හරිම වෙනස් එක අරමුණකට එකතු වුණොත් අපි එක පුරවැසි බලකායක්.
The event was joined by several officials, including the Chief Executive Officer of the Capital Maharaja Organisation Limited, Mohan Barara, Group Director Shivan Daniel, and the General Manager of Newsfirst, Yasarat Kamalsiri.
We have almost now 10,000 volunteers in the V-Force to transform our nation. All the young people are here to do something different from their daily work, and that definitely will help them get a wider perspective to life. So what we are trying to do is create leaders, create initiators, and create people who can transform our country. And we believe at the end of this project, hundreds of V-Force volunteers who have come here would go back enriched, lively, and I'm sure they'll start making a difference to the world from tomorrow onwards.
Kansai Paints Lanka Private Limited and the APAD, also known as the Asia Pacific Alliance for Disaster Management, also extended their support. The project was joined by various professionals, members of Gammadda and Newsfirst, students of the Peradeniya and Morotua universities, and diploma-level students of the Maharaja Institute of Management. Continuing the history of the Dadigama Kiniveta Primary School, the Gammadda V-Force team concluded this project with the hope and determination to commence another initiative.
Gammadda V-Force.
A woman and a child have died following a collision with a train at a railway crossing in Thudalla, Jayala this evening. According to the police, another individual has sustained severe injuries.
The 3 people who were injured as a result of this collision, which occurred at around 2:45 this evening, have been admitted to the Ragama hospital. However, the woman and the female child have succumbed to their injuries. The deceased are a 6-year-old Chanchala Samudaya and her 36-year-old mother. They are residents of Danduvama, Jayala. The driver of the bike had been a relative of the deceased female. The railway control room said the motorbike had collided on a train plying from Chilao to Colombo.
As of now, the Sena caterpillar menace has spread to the Nuwara district. The Department of Agriculture says that programs have been launched in several parts of the island to control the spread of this menace. In addition, samples of the fall armyworm has been sent to the United States of America to research on the life cycle of the worm.
Our correspondent said that the caterpillar was reported from fields in Hatton. This is the damage done by the Sena caterpillar to the cabbage and the corn crops in Ruanpura, Hatton. We saw it at about 7:30 in the night, but we saw only one worm. The next morning we checked all the crops and destroyed those attacked.
We're removing all the plants that were destroyed by the caterpillar. We were to sell these crops and earn money during the next few days.
If the Sena caterpillar spreads to this area, our cultivation will discontinue. This is a 1,000-acre corn crop in the Ekdala Oya area in the Ampara district. According to the farming community, the Sena caterpillar has completely destroyed their harvest. Because of the Sena caterpillar, we were compelled to destroy nearly 2 acres of cultivation. Meanwhile, farmers expressed their views on the non-receipt of agricultural insurance funds. All farmers have obtained loans from state banks to engage in farming. When we request for a 50,000 rupee loan, we only receive 40,000 rupees. When we inquire, they say the balance 10,000 rupees is for insurance. They now ask us to contact the Agriculture Insurance Committee. They told me that money was received from the bank later and therefore no action can be taken. Further inquiring into this matter, the Director General of the Agriculture Insurance Board, Panduka Veerasinghe, has stated that he will immediately look into this to discuss with the relevant state banks to provide a solution. He stated that the farmers who had obtained insurance will not face any injustice. Meanwhile, several areas that sell corn in the Gampaha district were subject to inspection by regional health officers. The health officers found caterpillars inside several corn fruits and destroyed them immediately. Shops that sold corn in the Gannorua area were also subject to health inspection with the assistance of the Central Province Agriculture Department. There is a possibility of this creature spreading to other crops since corn crops are maturing now. Any pesticide which has been recommended on the leaflet which has been handed over to create awareness on the Sena caterpillar can be used. After using any pesticide, there needs to be a certain time gap before the crops can be reaped.
ඒ කාලේ තියලා තමයි පලිබෝධනාශකයක් යදුවොත් අසන්න එලාගත යුත්තේ.
The Dambarampur village in Galgamo in the Kurunegala district, the 154th village built under the Udagamana program, was vested with the public today. The event was held under the auspices of Minister of Housing, Construction and Cultural Affairs and the Deputy Leader of the United National Party, Sajith Premadasa.
The village, which consists of 25 new houses, has a proper road system, access to clean drinking water, electricity and other facilities. During the event, the minister's attention was drawn towards this individual in the vicinity. House ownership deeds and loans were presented under the Visiri Housing Loan Scheme.
There is another drama now. If there is going to be a new constitution, there needs to be a bill first. But there isn't anything like that. Certain groups have expressed their own views. When a new draft bill is presented, we will make sure that the statements in the current constitution safeguarding Buddhism will be included.
Speaking at the 2018 annual session of the Sri Lanka Economic Association, Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka spoke about the country's debt burden.
In 2005, only 3.9% of the debt stock was non-concessional. It went up to 7.3% in 2006. It is now 54.8%. Okay? So that is what has happened to basically the structure of our debt stock. More than half is now non-concessional. So we took on a lot of commercial debt and allowed exports to fall. So that is the second deficit. Of course, there's no problem in taking on commercial external debt, but you can't then put it into non-tradables or into projects that don't give you a high enough rate of return to earn or save enough foreign exchange. Now, you know we got all that wrong, and that's why we are in the mess that we're in. We have to do what are the two crucial objectives of the IMF program. One is revenue enhancement based fiscal consolidation. The second is to build up our net international reserves to meet this tsunami of debt. IMF doesn't go around the world and impose itself on people. Countries go to the IMF when they've messed things up. There are only two countries in Asia with a program with the IMF. That is Sri Lanka and Mongolia. Pakistan is negotiating one. So the government has a position, the IMF has a position. Where we end up will be the subject of negotiations.
Last few years we have seen, now it is the South Asia is the fastest growing region. But I am still wondering why Sri Lanka is not part of that growth process. Sri Lanka did not benefit that much from this process. Those who grab the opportunities, they continue to grab more and more opportunities while expanding their capacity to do so even more. Those who have more will increase more and more. And otherwise, as we experience today, the country has become more and more vulnerable to the globalization process as well as the external shocks accompanied by it.
There were many concerns highlighted in the construction of the Central Expressway, especially with regard to the manner in which funding was obtained for the construction activities. Funding for the first phase of the Central Expressway was obtained from an Exim Bank from China. The $1 billion commercial loan from the Tokyo Mitsubishi Bank for the third phase of the Central Expressway came from the high interest rate and the host of other charges including 10.7% insurance premium, 1.1% arrangement fee and an additional commission of 0.25%. While obtaining high interest commercial loans, the authority have also managed to steal through various means. The prime example being the largest financial crime in the history of Sri Lanka, the central bank bond scam. when the Commission of Inquiry recommended to conduct a forensic investigation into the second bond scam, which was revealed after the first bond scam in 2015, a report is yet to be presented, and according to the Auditor General, the loss from the bond scam is insurmountable.
A factory was declared open in Ipalogama, Anuradhapura today. The event was held under the auspices of Minister of Plantation, Naveen Disanayaka.
The minister also engaged in an inspection tour. Following the distribution of coconut plants to the farming community in the area, the minister spoke to the media. We have security agreements with China and India. That is not something new. All these countries signed security agreements with us to obtain something from them. There is nothing special they can obtain from us. I don't think these security agreements are unfavorable if they are advantageous for us. The TNA is assisting us when it comes to certain acts, and we need the majority in Parliament. The TNA has their own issues. Some of them are the land captured in the north, housing issues in the north, and the security issues. But TNA is not Sumandiran. We don't take these allegations too seriously. A constitutional change is a huge process. We haven't even started on it yet.
A powerhouse in Sri Lankan theatre, Jerome L. De Silva celebrated 50 years in groundbreaking Sri Lankan theatre yesterday.
A special mass was organized by friends and relatives to celebrate this massive feat, and it was attended by renowned theatre practitioners from around the country.
It has been very difficult. It's the most difficult thing when, okay, our productions have been a success by the grace of God. It's very difficult when you have successes not to be humble. But I always retreat. I pull myself back and said, this is not yours. It is He who gave it to you. And so you are doing it in His service. So thank you, God. And forever make us humble, because that is the only way forward. The more humble you are, the better you become. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Moving on to news overseas, the US has announced a new missile defense policy aimed at addressing the challenges posed by Russia and China, which seeks to displace America in the Indo-Pacific region, and has adopted an assertive posture in disputes over territorial boundaries with its neighbors.
In its missile defense report released yesterday, the Pentagon said Russia and China were developing advanced cruise missiles and hypersonic missile capabilities that can travel at exceptional speeds with unpredictable flight patterns, which challenge the existing defense systems. These are challenging realities of the emerging missile threat environment that US missile defense policy, strategy, and capabilities must address. The report presented a comprehensive and layered approach to prevent and defeat advisory missile attacks through the combination of deterrence, active and passive missile defenses, and attack operations to destroy offensive missiles prior to launch.
Moving on to sports news now. The promotion activities of the 2018 Platinum Awards was held for the 4th consecutive day today. The promotion was held at the Anuradhapura Central College.
Sports First Alliance Platinum Awards ceremony is the first ever awards ceremony organized by a local electronic media institute that recognizes the talents of Sri Lankan sportsmen and women. The award ceremony will be held on the 29th of March this year at the Stein Studios in Ratmalana. The ceremony will award 20 main awards, 10 assessment medals as well as a Lifetime Achievement Award for the services rendered to the sports field. Sports such as baseball, football and rugby were introduced to the school in Anuradhapura district as a part of the all-island promotional program conducted on behalf of the Platinum Award ceremony. Imashi Himasha of Sarnapali Balika Vidyalaya was awarded the Platinum Gold Award for the most talented sportswoman in the Anuradhapura district. The next phase of the Sports First Alliance Platinum Awards ceremony promotional activities will take place in Vavnia tomorrow.
beyond the game.
And with that, we wrap up tonight's edition of Weekend Primetime News. Thank you very much for joining us. Good night.